This is Twitter, which is right now Silicon Valley's hottest company. We have Evan Williams, and Biz Stone, the co-founders. During the chat with Kara and Walt, you guys talked about being a standalone company for, in the next 5 years. You don't see you getting acquired. You really want to have that goal. Can you just say how you plan to get there eventually? What's your business plan?
Doing work?
Well, we're a standalone company right now, so it's staying here. But we're just getting started on the business and on the product, and there's a lot of ways that we're going to, a lot of things we're going to work on to make money and to build a long-term sustainable business.
One of the key things we've been thinking about in that respect is that there's a key difference between value and profit, and we need to build value first, and value for us is growing the network, making it robust, creating features that users want, nourishing the ecosystem, all these things that we really have to focus on before we focus on revenue. That being said, we do want to focus on generating some revenue by the end of the year to show people Twitter's here to stay.
So that's a goal right now, is to start generating some revenue by the end of this year?
Yeah, the goal is to begin iterating, to start showing signs of life in that respect.
That's a goal right now, and that could change. I mean, it was sooner before, but we have to make calls on what's the highest priority at every given time with our limited resources. And because we're focused on building value, sometimes right now we think there's more long-term value in solving some user problems and building a better product than there is in trying to milk that product, which we would have to divert resources to. So it's a constant changing landscape about where we want to focus our energy.
Okay. And do you guys have an analogy of another tech company that has kind of gone and built an ecosystem that you are either modeling yourselves on, or that you see that started out in a similar way with not a completely clear monetization plan?
Well, I think those are kind of two different questions. I mean, a company that started out without a clear monetization plan, that's somebody we would love to emulate, is Google, who took a couple of years before they really, they built value first, like we're trying to do. In terms of an ecosystem, I mean, Twitter is really open first and then closed only when it needs to be. So what would you suggest another company that's similar to that?
Well, I think our model is more like the web itself or the internet, where we want to let as many flowers bloom as possible and just allow great things to be created.
And one last question is, what do you think is the best use of Twitter? What is like one of the best applications that you've seen? I know that's kind of a hard question, but if you have an example of a real good use of Twitter.
I mean, one of my favorites is just this James Buck getting himself out of an Egyptian prison. That's a pretty good one. If you need to get out of Egyptian prison, you send make a tweet. That's pretty good. What else?
That's good. There's no best use of Twitter. It depends on what people need and want in their lives. On the ride on the way down here, I was hearing Scott Cook from Intuit talk about how his wife was getting updates on their son's high school lacrosse game while at a party that they had to attend. And to me, that's one of my favorite uses of Twitter, because it's something that everyone can understand and it touches real people in their real lives. It's not just about geeks and news junkies exchange information, which is very important to them. So it totally depends on the person and what they care about.
Thank you very much, Ev Williams and Biz Stone from Twitter. I'm Therese Pletty at MarketWatch.